do we become a beekeeping supply shop? We could do a farm shop. I need to find a better way of spending my time. What will work well for me? Hello and welcome back. And in today's video, I thought it'd be quite nice to do a recap of 2024 and where we're going to be going in 2025. So we're going to be looking at things that went well, things that didn't go so well, things we want to improve, and where we're going for 2025. It is the 31st of December, so it is New Year's Eve, which is very exciting. It's been one hell of a year, I think, 2024. One I certainly don't think I will be forgetting in a hurry. But we'll dive all down into that. I've got a list on my phone. We'll dive straight into it because I don't want this to be too long or too boring. So we'll get straight into it. So in 2024, what went well for us here at Lagness Farms, or Lagness Farms Honey? Well, we reached our target number of colonies, which was 20. I mean, it's dropped down to 19 now because it was the back end of October when we then found out one colony was completely queenless. So yeah, we have dropped down to 19, but it's more or less there. I'm kind of happy where we've come from, considering we started with either 8 or 9 colonies at the start of the year. So 20, 19, I think we've hit our target quite well in that respect. I think we managed to do our weekly inspections very well this year. I don't think there was 1 week that we missed, which is actually quite a big achievement for us because I am busy 6 days of the week and the 7th day is meant to be my off day, but I'm then doing the B side of stuff. Dad's very much the same, busy 5 days of the week, and then Saturday's doing farm stuff, and then Sunday's kind of our designated B day. So I think we've done that quite well, to be fair. With the increased bees that we've got this year, we did keep on top of it very well, which is a lot more than what I was expecting to be. I was kind of expecting to miss a couple of weeks here or there, but no, we did keep on our weekly inspections, and I think they went very well. I think our record keeping for stock, that's your brood boxes, your supers and crown boards, lids, and all of that, things to build up a hive, our stock. I think we did very well last year. At the end of the year, I did a stock take. I've done the same again this year. I put it all down on a spreadsheet, and I've kind of color coded it red, meaning we don't have enough of this for next year or this year because it will go out in 2025. But red being we need to buy. Orange will be okay for now. There's no real hurry, and green is we're safe. We don't need to worry about this at all. And it's quite nice as well because when stuff goes out, I can pop it on the spreadsheet and I can see how much stock we've got left in store. So even when it does run out, I'll be able to keep tabs of we're getting a bit low on this, we might need to order some before we do need it. So it's things like that. It's efficiency for us is the main thing. So I think we did that quite well. We improved our home apiary. You would have seen what it was like before we fenced it all off and made it all tidy and everything. It was literally just an open area with, I think, it would have been 8 or 9 hives just dotted around the edge. But with Glenn coming into the mix, we need to keep Glenn out of the apiary because she'll just end up destroying hives. I mean, in fact, she did. She knocked over one of our nukes. I think it must have been in August. We also have 2 new out apiaries. We kind of only plan to have 1 out apiary this year, but another one kind of came across a lot sooner than expected. So we're very grateful to both Berries on Tap and Barfoot's for allowing us to keep bees on their property. Another thing that went well, we got a new extraction room. That was very exciting, probably the first big purchase that we have had to make. But we did get banned from the house and the granary where we did our extraction the first year, because we may have made a little bit of a mess and it didn't go down too well. So just having a designated space to extract has just been an absolute godsend. We've been able to extract a lot quicker and more efficiently, I think, as well, because we've been able to plan around the space rather than just pop it in a room and kind of hope for the best. Which kind of leads us on to our biggest honey crop to date. Now, it's not surprising because we've got more bees, but last year, or the first year we had bees, we only took off 2 hives. So of course we're going to have more honey, but it was just a nice feeling that, okay, we got more bees and we have got more honey. It would be a little bit embarrassing if we had more bees and got less honey than our first year. So even that was a proud moment that we were able to go above. We were able to go well above what we ever predicted. I mean, we were kind of just expecting around 60 to 70 kilograms of honey, but we managed to harvest 110 kilograms, which is just incredible. I think another thing that we did do well this year is I got to show you guys a little bit of my day job, about how fresh veg is grown here on the south coast. I think we did that quite well. There's probably a lot more in depth I can go into, but it's hard to judge. I can ramble on about farming for days, and I don't want to bore you guys with it. So I think it was like short, sharp and brief, and it got to the point. I think has also gone very well is the honey sales. They've just gone through the roof. Obviously with the more honey that we've had, we've been able to keep certain people stocked up and certain shops stocked up for a lot longer this year. We've still got honey left over, which is great, because we've still got such a long time to go until our next honey crop. Now obviously, the more honey we get, probably the quicker I'm going to want to shift it, so I don't have too much left over. But it's nice that we're coming into the new year and we still have honey to sell. I'm kind of predicting January is going to be quite a quiet time for us, with the sales side of things. Hopefully come the February and March it might start to increase. You've got Valentine's Day, you've also got Easter approaching. I think Easter's quite late this year, it's back end of April, but yeah, I'm really chuffed with how well our honey has been selling. It's really nice as well, the feedback that we get off people. Another great thing that did happen to us in 2024 was that we've been able to stock our first shop, which is Berries on Tap in Siddlesham. Please do give them a look on, I think they're definitely on Instagram. They might be on Facebook, but definitely on Instagram. Very strong presence on Instagram. They got loads of local produce. It's not just our honey that they sell. They're also doing mushrooms as well. You should really try those mushrooms. Kiwis as well. UK or Siddlesham kiwis. So it's definitely something to go check out. If you like your fresh produce, definitely go check Berries on Tap out, because they're a very hard working family. And finally, we reached 1,000 subscribers, or over 1,000 subscribers now, which is incredible. And I've got no one else to thank apart from you guys for kind of following our journey, which is incredible. And I hope I can show you our next chapter. So the first chapter has closed on YouTube. We'll be going into the new year, and we've got so much lined up. So that's kind of what went well for us in 2024. However, there were some things that didn't go so well. Mainly, the big one being the weather. Now, that's not something that we could control, but it was something that really did affect us, and probably a lot of beekeepers, just UK wide or nationwide. It just did not play ball. We didn't get a spring. It just rained and rained and rained and rained, and then when it did dry out, it was dry for 2 days and then rained again. So yeah, we're incredibly fortunate to be able to still have as much honey as what we were able to get, because I was not expecting it. Hands up, did not expect the bees to perform as well as what they did do. So hopefully come the new year we're going to be getting better weather, fingers crossed. Something that really didn't go that well. That was definitely our fault. We had a very bad springtime feeding plan. It was the first time we brought bees through the winter into the spring, so we weren't quite expecting what to expect, to be honest. And I think, yeah, we were kind of really given a hard hand to deal with. It's just, yeah, the bees just couldn't get out, and obviously every day it was getting slightly warmer, but it was staying just as wet, so they were just eating the stores that they had left, or anything that they had collected. They just depleted everything. So we were not on top of our feeding in the spring, and it did cost us a couple of colonies, unfortunately, which is something I'm not going to let happen next year or in 2025. So springtime feeding, very bad, but I did learn from that, because I just didn't expect how quickly the bees would grow. I hold my hands up, just did not expect it. Another thing, again, it's our own fault, is that we lost a colony to a mouse, or two mice. We didn't put in all the doors for some reason. We left a couple of hives without any doors, and obviously over the winter time, mice just climbed up, ate through the wax and their stores. Obviously cleared the bees out. I then opened them up, and yeah, I got the shock of my life. If you haven't seen that, I think that was the second video ever done. So I don't think the quality is that great, but do give it a view if you want. So yeah, again, that was just down to us not being observant and not having the experience. I didn't even expect, or I didn't even think about mice, having a mouse problem, to be honest. So yeah, something I've definitely learnt this year. After we condensed the bees down, every single hive had a door put in it, just to reduce those entrances. So yeah, we did learn from that. Another thing is that we had queens disappearing. Don't know if it's the same with anyone else, but for some reason, one colony in particular just did not keep their queen. Either they killed the queen or the queen died. I generally do not know, but it was just, for some reason, it's just queen after queen after queen. We were putting them in, and we're like, well, where are they going? We were allowing them time to get used to the pheromones by introducing them slowly, and yeah, just nothing we did just worked. I think on one colony we must have gone through 5 queens, which is a big hit. I was kind of getting to a point where I said to Dad, I was like, look, this is the last. I think it did get to the last queen we put in. I was like, if they don't accept this, we're just gonna have to give up, because we're just throwing money down the drain. But it wasn't just one colony. It was several colonies. There were just queens were just disappearing for no apparent reason. They weren't swarming because all the bees were still in. So I don't quite understand what was going on there. So yeah, that really knocked us back a little bit. And then obviously with the weather doing what it did do, we didn't get a spring crop of honey. I was really looking forward to having our first spring honey. Seeing a different colour. See the different taste. Our hedgerows. We've got ancient hedgerows over here, and I was really excited to try and look at the springtime honey, but we just didn't get any, absolutely none. And we due to that, we're having to feed all the way up until when was it? Back end of May we stopped feeding. Then we had the June gap, so we stopped and started again. But yeah, with no spring honey, we did actually get a very poor honey crop. I know I said we got 110 kilograms of honey, which was our biggest harvest ever. But you then look back and you look back at the amount of colonies that we've got now to what we did have. You kind of think, well, those figures don't really add up, So yeah, we didn't really do that well. Which is a little bit disappointing, but like I said, we got more than what I was expecting. But then you reflect on it, and it's like, you put a lot of time and effort into it, and that's kind of all we got, which is a little bit disheartening. But again, I think most of it was down to the weather, like where we are in particular. I think you look on the charts, and the southeast coast has had the most amount of rainfall. Like the charts are dark purple, and you're like, wow, great, it's just fab. But yeah, poor honey crop. I think we didn't build up our bees well enough in the spring either, because they were just hit back with our poor feeding. So I think that's the sort of, you live and learn on that sort of thing. And I think we're a little bit lax on our maintenance as well. I've seen, well, the very first supers that we put together have all blown out, and that's just me being me and not following instructions. You know, when you're told to put glue down on it, put glue down on it. Obviously with the wetness that we've had, the wood's swollen up, then it's shrunk back down again, and it's obviously pulled the nails out. So yeah, I've got quite a lot of supers to kind of put back together, which is a little bit annoying. But I've learnt. I've just built 20 new supers that we got on a sale. Yeah, so I've glued them down. But yeah, learn on that. And I touched on it on the thing that we did well of the weekly inspections, but we did have a lack of time. We were very time poor, which is why the achievement of actually doing these weekly inspections was so big for us. But like I said, it's things like the maintenance, even the maintenance in the apiaries. We didn't invest enough time into it, I don't think. So it's something to kind of look back on and try and improve on for 2025. Is just how can we be more efficient with our inspections to then free up more time to do those other jobs that you never get around to doing, because now it's the winter and there's so much to do. And you know, I'm back at work on the 13th of January, which is not long at all, and I've got all my maintenance on the farm kit to do. I've still got the bee side to do. I've got what I'm currently sitting to do as well. I'll touch on that in a minute. So yeah, it's just lack of time. But that's 2024 kind of wrapped up. I think we have more successes than failures, to be honest, looking back. But obviously the things that we didn't do so well on, we can very much learn and improve on for 2025. Which then brings us down onto what are we going to be doing next year. We're up to 19 colonies. The goal is double, 40. Whether that's a possibility, I don't know. We have been buying more kit to house all these other colonies. It's quite a big jump, so we're going to have to try and change the ways that we start looking and inspecting with the bees, because yeah, if it was a struggle this year, it's going to be a struggle next year, even more so. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to clip our queens. They do swarm. They're not going to go far. We did lose a couple of swarms for the first time ever this year, but again, you're going to, because we got more bees. But you look at how you can retrieve them, and the best way is to just simply clip your queen. So you kind of have a little bit more time. So if you don't get around them all in a week, you've got a little bit more time to kind of get around them. But we're going to try a new way of inspecting our bees. Now, a lot of you have probably watched Griff's video on Wainwright's, because he did one of his apiary tours and he also did a factory tour. I'm more thinking about his apiary tours and how he goes about doing his weekly inspections, which he doesn't, which is something I'm very much here for. If you're a hobbyist, you probably do want to look at your bees every week and, you know, make sure they're doing what you want them to do, or, you know, just because you're interested in it. Don't get me wrong, I'm interested in doing it, but I'm trying to do it more of a commercial scale. And I've seen where the gaps are, and I think I can make it work, but I need to find a better way of spending my time, and that is not going through every single hive, picking up every single frame, trying to look for eggs, trying to look for the queen, looking for it's just not time efficient. So the way that Wainwrights do it is, come the spring, they put on 4 or 5 supers on the hive, and go. And that's it, they leave them. So we're going to be trialling that in 2025. We're going to be doing it on our home apiary, and obviously with the queens being clipped, if they do swarm, we can see them because they're going to be on the floor, hopefully. So that's what we're going to do. We'll do it with either 1 or 2 colonies and just kind of see how it goes, because if we can get a good honey crop from them whilst not inspecting them, that is winner winner chicken dinner. You know, that's kind of where I want to be going. And then there's also his way of splitting bees as well, like making up nukes. You know, he's only putting 1 frame of bees in and just leaving them, you know, giving them feed and everything, but just leave them and build up over that year. Which does, you know, it makes sense to me, because that's what you do with cattle and sheep and pigs. You know, you start off with a baby and you nurse it throughout the year, and then come the following year, it's then ready to go into a big box and make honey. So in my mind, it makes sense. Why take like 3 frames of bees out? Because you're only going to knock back your honey crop, because those bees are going to have to increase again. Which, for swarm control, I understand completely why you take that amount of bees out of it. But if we can keep on top of it, you know, we're not gonna knock back our bees for the honey crop. And a way of doing that to stop them from swarming is, again, I was talking to a beekeeper in Hampshire. He raves about Demarest splits. We've never done it. A lot of you probably do it. Let me know, is it worth doing it? I know you have to do it before they even think about swarming. He was suggesting doing it from like back end of April to beginning of May. So it's something we're going to try again. We won't do it on all of them, obviously, because we don't know if it's going to work for us. But that's kind of where we're going with it. Another thing that's not beekeeping related is we're going to start growing chilies. Now, those of you that have seen my chili infused honey or hot honey, we haven't actually called it anything yet. If you'd like to watch that, go up there, click that, have a watch. And if you got any tips as well, put it in the comments over there as well, because yeah, we've just about got it sussed, I think. But we're going to have new products for next year, which will include soft set honey, which we currently don't do, chili infused honey, which is where growing chilies are going to be, and obviously the runny honey. And we've got something on the side as well that I'm not going to say too much about, but I'm quite excited for it because nobody does it down here. Might be for good reason, might not be, who knows, but we're going to try it. But yeah, so I'm gonna record how we grow those chilies to put into the honey, which I think will be quite nice, because the whole point of this channel is 100% traceability. Anything that comes from us here, I want you to be able to look back and find it, and then like, this is how it was grown, or this is how it was made. So things like that, I think, will be quite cool to witness. So we're currently looking at polytunnels at the moment, but how big do we go? What way do we put it? Like facing? Do we face it north, west, south, east? Just things like that. We don't know. But actually growing the chilies is going to be starting in probably 2 or 3 weeks. You know, middle of January is when we're looking at starting to plant our chilies. They need an incredibly long season to grow. So that's what we're going to be starting with very, very soon. I'm quite excited for that because I've done a lot of research into how to grow chilies well and efficiently. So that'll be something new. If you're interested in gardening, that'll be quite cool, I think. If not, tough, because I'm interested in it. 2025, we need to be more efficient. I keep on saying it. Efficiency is what we need to try and be doing. I don't know if that made sense. But a lot of people use coloured bricks. You know, you colour bricks and you have like red, orange and green. Red being urgent, something's needed. Orange being keep an eye on it. Green being happy days, don't even worry. So we'll probably be doing that. We've got a load of bricks. I need to paint them still. So we're going to be doing that, and it just helps us keep note better, because we did try keeping note of what was going on in each hive. It just didn't work. We don't have the time to record it all the time. So we go back to a hive, or if I do 1 week where Dad's done an apiary, but I've completely forgotten what he's said, if there's something wrong, he can turn that brick round to whatever colour, and then I know there's something wrong, so I can pay extra attention to it, which I think is a very good idea. Why we haven't done that yet, I don't know. So that's something we're going to be doing, hopefully. And we're also going to be buying queens a lot sooner. Now, we had a revelation this year where time was never on our side with the weather. So we were thinking, if the queen disappears, it's fine, the bees make their own queens, don't worry about it. But there's too much time that's taken up between the queen emerging to being mated to then laying, and there's no guarantee that she's going to be there. Something might happen. So we're going to be buying in queens rather than letting the bees make their own. Because at the end of the day, they're not too much money for the amount of honey you then get. A few pounds of honey, that queen's paid for. So as long as they stay in the hive and not disappear like they did do last year, we're kind of onto a winner. And then we kind of wanted to do it this year, but never actually got round to it, is we want to do some markets or stalls or events where we can just have like a little stand or a table where we can just, interact with people. There's, not a good farmer's market in Chichester. Do we go to that? I know it's quite expensive to have a stall there, so is it worth spending that money on having a stall there, but then, not knowing if you're actually going to make a profit from that? I don't know. Another idea is car boot sales. They don't cost as much to have an area. And we have also been invited to go to the South of England show this year, or next year, in 2025, which both myself and Dad are very keen to do, but I don't know if we're going to have any product available for them. Do I stop selling honey now and just keep back what we've got, or do I just keep my local customers rolling? I'd probably prefer keeping my local customers going throughout, and until I run out. We'll have to come to that when we get there, but it's something we both want to do, and it would be so cool to have our own stall at the South of England show. That'll be a massive achievement. So we were looking into that. We might go, we might not. We don't know yet. And the final thing really for 2025 is currently where I'm sitting. So what you're seeing at the moment is the new farm office. We have a unit on the farm where our old tenants have moved out, and with us expanding with the farm side and the bee side, we need to have our own space because we can't keep on doing it in the house. There's too much things that we need to have here and not have to battle through everything else. So this is going to become our HQ, or this is now our HQ. But this is just the upstairs. We got a downstairs unit as well. I'll do a proper video of it once we decide what we're going to do with it, because there are a couple of options that we could do, but I just don't know where we want to go with it. I'll let you. So two options are: we could do a farm shop, but we do have a farm shop probably a mile down the road. Difference being, this will be a seasonal shop, so whatever we have in stock at that time will be what we sell. They're open all year round. We probably won't be. Or do we become, which is, I do like the idea of it, do we become a beekeeping supply shop right here in, Chichester Bognor area? Because our local beekeeping supply shop, which was Payne's, which is sadly no longer, we don't have it anymore. I don't even know where the closest one is, to be honest, from here. So that is a possibility, because there is such a vast amount of people in this area that are hobby beekeepers. So that is another option. Do we become a beekeeping supply shop, or do we do both, or do we do something completely different? So that's kind of where we're going at this moment in time, but that is a 2025 thing. So I don't know. As I say, I'm not too sure. Dad's not too sure. I do very much like the idea of a beekeeping supply shop. Because like I said, there's no one in the area. But I also like the idea of a farm shop. You know, somewhere where we can stock our own produce. We have excess chilies that we haven't used. We could sell them in a shop. Or, you know, with this polytunnel, we could grow so much food that we're not going to eat it all, are we? So it kind of comes back to local food for local people, which it does resonate really well with what I want to achieve with the farm. It's all, everything's very much up in the air. But what do you think? Do you think a beekeeping supply shop? Do you think a farm shop? Do you think a bit of both? Do you think something completely different? We have a unit. What would you do with that unit? Before you get into it, I don't need any more storage. That is something we have got. Before, I know everybody says, oh, boy, you can never have too much storage. We have enough storage at this moment in time. So I'm not looking for a storage unit. But I want something for people to come into it. But what would you guys do? Yeah, let me know. And when we have decided what we're going to do with it, I will put it out onto YouTube. And I'll show you what I'm sitting in. At the moment, this is all you're getting. This is the office. Yeah, comment below what you would do with it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for watching throughout the year. It's been incredible. We have literally nearly done a year of YouTube, which is amazing. And I think we shall see you. I don't know what the next video is going to be actually. It'll be apiary maintenance, because I've got to do that probably on the 2nd of Jan. So this is the thing, there's so much that's still going. But let me know what you guys think, drop it in the comments and we'll go from there. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.